So today I thought I'd record a halo eye, and I was going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette, but this halo eye that I wanted to do is going to be more like on the smoky side, and I want to make this halo eye as easy as possible, so I'm probably just going to use like 3, maybe 4 shades, and that's it. That's all you really need for a halo eye. I'm gonna go straight into this color right here. Like, I'm not like, this will be my transition shade. Usually I'll use like something lighter, but no, in this case I'm just gonna use this one. And first I'm gonna go in with the Morphe N433, sorry, and I'm gonna pack it on in my crease, and then I'll go in with a fluffier brush, and then I'll like blend it all out together. So this is the shade Jada. And as I'm doing this, I'm gonna be careful not to bring this shade up too high up, because it'll probably just end up looking very sloppy and ugly, and so that's what I'm gonna try to avoid. As I mentioned, I might use a 4th shade, so that might be what I use, like a more neutral shade, and then have that be blended out all the way to the top. Okay, so the color is packed on, as you can see. So now I'm gonna go in with a fluffier brush. Probably use this Wet n Wild brush, and I'll pack it on. Now I'm gonna show you guys a trick. So, sorry. What I like to do is grab a microfiber cloth like this, and I use it to take off any residue on my brushes. This comes especially in handy when you've used a dark color and you need to go in with a lighter color with that same brush. So now I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to go back into the shade Jada. And I'm going to start blending it out. And I'm also, now that I'm blending, gonna apply it very messily over my eyelid. And as I'm doing this, I'm like blending in circular motions, and then I go in windshield wiper motions at the same time sometimes, just because I'm really gonna blend this out, because this is gonna be a hard color to make good on its own without like any actual transition shade beforehand. So I'm just gonna blend till my hands fall off. And then as you're applying this, you can kind of just keep applying the shade until you've gotten the color that you want. Then you'll know to stop. I think that for me this is okay now. I'm kind of just continuously blending it out just a little bit more, because you can never blend too much. Okay. And then I'm just going to go in with like a little bit more and just apply it over my lid very messily. Okay, now with whatever is left on my brush, I'm ever so slightly gonna blend above my crease line, just so that this area right here doesn't look so pale. Okay, now I'm gonna go with the Morphe M513, and I'm gonna take the shade Enchanted, and I'm gonna pack that on the inner and outer corner border of my eye, and then whatever's left in the brush I'm gonna use to blend up in my crease. And as you can see, the color picks up so good on the brush. So after I tap it in the palette, I then tap off the excess because I want to have control as to how much I'm putting on my eye. I don't want to go in with a lot all at once. So I'm gonna pack it on the outer corner. And then I'm gonna get some more, tap off the excess, and then go in with in the inner corner. And then I'm like really gonna tap off the excess and then wipe it a little bit on my cloth here. And then I'm gonna like ever so slightly with like the lightest hand ever blend it into my crease. And now you're just gonna blend some more. I think blending is like the biggest key to using colorful shades, because I mean when you're using light color shades you can get away with like not blending as much and it'll still look okay, but with colorful shades, when you're using them and you don't blend out enough, it looks very, very streaky and patchy, and it's just not a good look, and the colors just don't look good together. Okay, now again with the excess, I'm ever so slightly bringing it above my crease and blending it all out together. So now, this is what's considered the hard part, which is making the halo eye itself. I'm still practicing myself, but we'll see. So I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and this is in the shade Light Sand. I have a little darker one, but because my halo eye portion is going to be like a really light shimmer, I'm going in with a lighter concealer as well so that you can really see it and it really stands out. Now, I have very hooded eyes, so oftentimes what I'm forced to do is go a little bit above my crease. Otherwise, you would not be able to see like a halo effect whatsoever. I mean, it would be there, but like I'd have to close my eyes for you to be able to tell that it's there, if that makes sense. I'm gonna like wipe off any excess that I have and then start to like shape it a little bit more. And then like with the brush, I'm like going on the tip of it so that I can really get into my crease. So like, I think that's good. What's most important about the halo eye is that it's not about the shape of the particular eye, but it's just making sure that whatever you do on one eye, you match as best as possible with the other eye. Otherwise, it's gonna look so off and it's just not gonna look right. So I did that, So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a flat shader brush. I'm gonna try using that M210, the Morphe M210, but if it doesn't work, I'll probably have to use like a more synthetic bristle kind of brush. I don't know how this is gonna pick up the color. So now I'm going to grab this shade right here, and it is in the color Beam. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but this card comes with the palette, and it was kind of annoying for me to have to go back and forth trying to figure out what color I'm using, so I just taped it to the palette. I don't think it looks too bad. But yeah, so I'm gonna go in with the shade Beam. And I'm really packing my brush with it, and then I'm going to go in on my eyelid. Now this is going to cause a lot of fallout, which is why I chose to do my my eyeshadow first. I don't really like how this color is packing it on. I feel like I'm losing a lot of the pigment. So I'm gonna go in with this Wet n Wild brush, and I'm going to spray it a little bit with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, just anything to get my brush wet. And now I'm gonna pack it on. So I think that's fine. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go in with the first brush that I used to pack in the shade Jada. And I'm not going to add any product to it. I'm just going to blend out the edges a little bit and slightly go over my crease. And then I'm gonna go in with the other brush that I used for the shade Enchanted, and I'm going to add just a little bit, and then I'm gonna use this shade to deepen up my outer corner, and then going back in with it again and adding it to my inner corner again. Now what I'm gonna do, now that I like have sort of the basis of it that I like, what I'm gonna do is I have like a lot of residue right here, so I'm going to grab my wipe and I'm gonna wipe it off, because essentially what I want is for that part of my eye to have the same shade that I used for my halo eye. And I'm gonna sort of wipe this out. So now that I have that blended out, now I'm gonna go in with the shade MFEO and a little bit of Creamsicle, and I'm gonna tap off the excess and then wipe it off a little bit on my brush here. And I'm going to ever so slightly blend. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with that color that I used for my halo effect, and I'm just gonna go in with it once more. And I'm gonna go in with this brush once more. Just blend out. You just can never blend too much. Okay. So this is complete. So this eye is complete. I don't think that eyeliner would go good with it because it's, a halo eye. So now the only thing that's left to do is add my inner corner highlight. So As I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna go in with the shade Beam, and I am going to pack this mother on my inner corner like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera, and then I'll come back and then do the rest of my makeup. Alright, so I went ahead and did my other eye off camera, and then I also added some lashes. These are the Ardell Twin Pack lashes. They don't have a number, they're just called Twin Pack. And I really like them because, like, I mean, it's obviously noticeable that I have false lashes on, but like they're not too extra, and I don't always like an extra look, especially because today I'm just going to the mall. Like it's not that serious. But yeah, so now I'm going to wipe off any excess that I might have with the baby wipe. And then I'm gonna move on to primer. So for primer, I'm going to use the Too Faced Hangover Primer. Like I've said before, this is literally the only primer I use, so yeah. Okay. Alright, so now for foundation, I'm using the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation. So I'm just gonna put some pumps on my face, and I really like this foundation because it's pretty full coverage, and I like my full coverage. I used to not, but now I do. And I also like that this foundation is neither mattifying nor dewy. It's like a satin finish, and so I really like that, because if it was matte it would not work for me, because like I said, I have dry skin, so just wouldn't be a good combination. Alright, so now to blend this out, I normally use a brush, but because this is more creamy, I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender, and I'm gonna go in dabbing motions, and I'm just gonna apply this all over my face. And I'm also gonna like take out my little hair so I can blend there. I'm not gonna go in my ear because I have my earrings on, which I probably should have taken off. Okay, I put a lot on my face, but it's fine. I'll make it work. I'm basically just, you know, creating a whole new person because this is not me. Okay, and I also like go like this so that my double chin is blended as well, because I don't want my neck to be any different than my face. Now, I mean, I think it's an okay match. I can't go any lighter than this because it wouldn't look right, and I can't go any darker because then again it wouldn't look right. So this is as close to my skin tone as I'm gonna get. Blending in between my eyebrows is always the hardest thing ever, because I have to try my very best not to mess up my eyebrows. Okay, so now my forehead, my big ass forehead. And on camera, like I feel like it looks like this is a hell of a lot lighter than I am, but well, for starters, my forehead is always lighter than the rest of my face, so that could be one thing. But also, once I blend this out, it looks okay, and I think that this foundation oxidizes a little bit, so then it gets darker throughout the day. So yeah, it's fine. Now that I blended that out, I'm now going to go in with concealer, and I'm going to be mixing these two shades, the light sand and the medium. On my last video, I titled it Soft Glam because, I mean, even though I used the same foundation, like I didn't go as heavy with concealer, and usually concealer plays like a huge role in making like your whole face look a lot more full coverage and sculpted and stuff, which that was not what I was going for. I'm gonna put a tiny bit on my chin and on the bridge of my nose. I don't really like to do my forehead because I think that it's like a little bit drying on my forehead, but it's fine. So this is the first I'm gonna blend out. And I'm gonna do my chin. And I really like how it looks on the chin. I think it looks cute, even though I have a big chin, but it's fine. I'm like bringing more attention to it. It's okay. Okay, now I'm gonna blend out my under eye, and the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna like go down and then like across in that triangular motion. And I'm kind of just doing my best to not mess up that outer corner of my eyeshadow. I could probably go a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use an ever so slight amount, just like that, and then I'm going to blend it out just to brighten it up a little bit more. And then I'm also like bringing this on the sides of my nose. Okay, now I'm going to do this side. And again, I feel like this could be like a little bit more brighter, so I'm gonna use a small amount and blend that out. Alright, so now I'm gonna do my nose, and I'm just and I guess at this point, if I wanted to cream contour, I would. But I only cream contour when I'm like going all out, full glam, like both face of makeup, full beat, like everything. I mean, this is close to it because I'm going heavy with concealer. My foundation is pretty full coverage. But cream contour, I like to use more when like I really want my contour to last all day long. And for today's purposes, I really don't care. So yeah. Now to contour, I'm going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I got a sample of this. I forgot what it came in. I can't remember. But I had it for a while and then I kept forgetting that I had it and I never used it. So now I'm using it. This is in the shade Medium Deep Matte. And I think that this color suits me very well. So, to contour my face, I'm going to use this brush sort of like to build my contour, but then I'm going to use this brush to blend it all together. So, yeah. Okay, now that I have that going on, I'm going to go in with the other brush. And whenever I apply like any type of bronzer, I put a lot on, like a ridiculous amount on. I mean, to the point where it'll still look okay, but I put a lot on because For some reason, whenever I do my makeup, it doesn't matter what foundation I'm using, what bronzer I'm using, how I set my face, like it doesn't, which, talking about setting my face, I didn't set my concealer. So guess what I'm gonna do right now? In the middle of bronzing. Okay, wait. So I'm using the Kat Von D setting powder. And a lot of people use like their damp beauty sponge to set their makeup. I don't like that at all. So going in. And I'm kind of using this to give my eyeshadow like a sharper look, to make it look a lot more cut and clean. On some days I like to bake, but for today's purposes I'm not, because since I applied that extra layer of light concealer, it already brightened up my under eyes, and if I were to bake right now, my under eyes would look even brighter, which I don't want. So I'm just gonna pack this on, but with the same beauty blender, I'm also like rubbing it off at the same time. Then I'm gonna go with my Real Techniques, I think this is like a setting brush, and I'm gonna like dust it all off. And then I'm gonna do the same to the other side. But I need to shake out some little more. So now I'm gonna do the same on this side. I am going to bake like this side of my eyeliner because I want it to get that really sharp look. Then I'm gonna set my chin, my nose, and my forehead. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the brush again and brush it all off. Okay, now that I finished that, I'm gonna start again with my bronzer and finish where I left off. And I wanna shape that part. Bring it up, go back in with this. Now I'm going to set the bottom part so that it's a lot more sharp. And then after applying it, I will immediately brush it off. Okay, so now that I've done that, now I'm gonna go in with my blush. And for my blush, I am going to use one of the blushes that came in this Becca x Jaclyn Hill collaboration. And I'm gonna mix this shade and that shade. I think they have names. I'm gonna mix Amaretto and Pamplemousse together, but I know that I want a majority of the color to be coming from this shade. And then because I don't like too much blush, I then always go with my contour brush and then like I blend it out so that it's not too extra. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to my eyes and I'm gonna finish my under eyes. And the only color that I'm gonna use for my under eyes is the shade Enchanted, which is that really dark green color. And actually I'm gonna go in with the shade Soda Pop with a little bit of Enchanted and mix it together and then apply it. Then I'm gonna go back in with my inner corner highlight because I feel like it kind of has worn off on me. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my face and then I'm going to apply highlighter and then bottom lash mascara. So for my setting spray, I'm going to be using my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. And then I'm gonna go back into that Jaclyn Hill palette and use one of the highlights in this palette. Mine broke, so I no longer have Champagne Pop. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so now I only have Prosecco Pop. But I mean, I can still dig in there and use a little bit. I'm gonna use a mixture of Prosecco Pop and Champagne Pop together because we're being extra today. So now I'm gonna go ahead and apply my bottom lash mascara, and for that I'm using the Maybelline Great Lash Mascara. For my lips, I'm gonna go in with the NYX Retractable Lip Liner, and this is in the color Nude. I think I might have to go a shade darker on this. Okay, so after going in with that lip liner, I'm now going to take my e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss, and this is in the color Champagne Glam. And I really like this gloss because it has like these little like gold shimmer reflex. And it's also, since it's like a lip plumping gloss, it kind of gives like this little tingly feeling on your lips that's quite nice. So yeah, that is my lip combo. This is basically it for the look. Thank you so much for watching.